This book is dated. It is not decoded. The Voynich Manuscript is filled with plants, diagrams, bathing scenes, and a script that still has no verified translation. In 2011, a University of Arizona team used radiocarbon dating to narrow the age of the tested parchment to 1404 through 1438. That solved one question about the material. It did not solve the writing. Radiocarbon dating works on the part of the book that was once alive, the animal skin used to make the parchment. While an animal is alive, its carbon reflects the environment. After death, one form of carbon decreases at a predictable rate. Measuring what remains gives scientists an age range for that material. It is a powerful boundary. The pages tested in the Arizona study belong to the early 15th century, but a material date is not a translation. The test cannot tell us which language the script represents, who wrote it, or what the drawings were meant to explain. Yale's Voynich library describes the manuscript as scientific or magical text in an unidentified language. Its illustrations divide the book into recognizable-looking groups: plants, astronomy and astrology, baths, cosmological diagrams, and herbs or roots. Those pictures make the object feel readable. A plant still looks like a plant even when the words beside it resist every confident reading. That is the human temptation in this case, to let a familiar image make an unfamiliar text feel solved. So what can the surviving evidence establish when the parchment has a date, but the language does not? It can establish that the tested material is medieval. It can place the tested parchment inside a historical period. It cannot turn an unknown script into a known one. This is the first evidence reversal. The age narrowed while the meaning stayed open. The distinction matters because the manuscript has attracted proposed solutions for more than a century. Some readings claim a hidden language. Others claim a cipher, a constructed system, or a hoax. Yale's own description does not present any of those proposals as a verified decipherment. The responsible statement is smaller and stronger. The text remains undeciphered. Think of the test as answering one question in a chain. When did the animal skin become parchment? The date range gives us a reasoned answer. When was the ink placed on the page? The material result alone does not give us that exact moment. Who wrote the signs? Unknown. What language do they encode if they encode one at all? Unknown. Why were the plants and diagrams drawn in this particular order? Unknown. The word unknown is not a failure of research. It is the line that keeps a result from becoming a legend. Wilfrid Voynich purchased the manuscript in 1912, and the book has been debated ever since. Its history after that point is easier to document than the meaning of its text. Yale can describe the object, preserve its pages, and provide digital access. It cannot certify a theory simply because the theory is dramatic. That is why the archive is useful here. It lets us separate the thing we can inspect from the story we want it to tell. For this manuscript, a solution would need more than a few convincing symbols. It would need a repeatable reading, evidence that the proposed language behaves consistently across the text, and independent checks that other researchers can reproduce. Until then, a proposed translation is a theory, not a result. The date range is different. It comes from a physical measurement of the parchment. It narrows the object's material history without pretending to recover a voice that the evidence has not recovered. The Voynich manuscript is not interesting because science failed to make it speak. It is interesting because science answered one part of the case precisely and left the harder part untouched. Its tested parchment can be placed in the early 15th century. Its script still has no verified translation. Its author, purpose, and language remain open questions. The most honest ending is also the clearest one. The age was solved. The language wasn't. If you prefer evidence over legend, the next case is already waiting in the archive.